Welcome to our next Cattle Lameness Academy Mobility Matters video on cow flow. In this video we're going to discuss the importance of ensuring good cow flow and how this relates to lameness. We're going to start by looking at how a cow interacts with humans. All cows have flight zones, which is equivalent to your personal space. Some cows have very large flight zones, whereas others have very small flight zones. If someone enters this flight zone, the cow will naturally walk away from the person. This is mirrored in humans, as you would step away if you felt someone was standing too close to you. Here we have an example of two cows that move away as soon as their flight zone is entered. The second cow is only triggered to move once a further step is taken to enter her flight zone. When moving cows, it is useful to note that cows have a tipping point as well as their flight zones, which is the shoulder and enables you to turn them or move them up and down a raceway. Here we have some examples showing the flight zone and pivot points used to move cows up and down a handling race. These videos are for demonstration only. Cows don't usually walk backwards, so this is best to avoid where possible. Cows have blind spots as shown, so it is important not to approach a cow in these areas when trying to move her. They also have a narrow blind spot directly in front, so it is important to let cows have time to swing her head from side to side so that she can see where she is going as she walks into the crush or raceway. So now that we know how cows respond to humans in terms of flight zones and tipping points, it is helpful to use this when moving cows. It is important to note how no voices are raised and the cows calmly walk into the race. If you raise your voice or enter the flight zone with no clear direction of travel for the cow to follow, they will panic and are likely to become unpredictable. When panicked, for example by moving into her flight zone too quickly or two people moving into her flight zone from different sides, she can suddenly turn and sometimes slip, which can lead to claw-horn lesions. A calm cow has her head carried low, whereas a stressed cow usually has her head raised to look for signs of danger. The order that cows enter the collecting yard is not the same order that they enter the parlour, so need plenty of room to reorganise themselves. Cow flow in the environment is very important in regards to lameness. So let's firstly look at the cow flow outside at pasture. Is there poaching around the water troughs and gateways? These areas are potential hotspots for infectious foot diseases. Are cows standing for long periods of time at gateways, or are they lying comfortably until it's time for milking? On their return from pasture, what are the cattle tracks like? Are they a good surface, or are there loose stones? Is there space for faster cows to overtake slower cows? Cattle tracks can be areas where excessive twisting and turning occurs, especially if there are loose stones, which can increase the risk of developing claw-horn lesions. Of utmost importance is to not hurry the cows along tracks, as we know that unsympathetic herding, for example with dogs, quad bikes and tractors, can increase lameness significantly. Once back inside, how much space is there between the cubicles? AHDB recommend an ideal width of 3.6 metres. Is there enough space in the feed passage for cows to walk past other cows feeding? AHDB recommend that a system like this should have a minimum width of 4.6 metres. At crossovers with water troughs, AHDB recommend a minimum of 3.6 metres, again to enable cows to walk past with ease to prevent them creating dead ends. In order to minimise bullying between the cows, you should ensure that there are no dead ends, and AHDB recommend that there are crossover passages built in every 20 to 25 cubicles. At milking time, avoid overcrowding cows in the collecting yard by excessive use of a backing gate. Keeping milking groups to a size where maximum disturbance is 1 hour is the ideal. Surfaces with good grip are very important, such as well-grooved concrete or rubber. Smooth concrete can lead to slipping when cows are moved quickly on these surfaces, which can lead to claw-horn lesions developing. Finally, it is important to check that there is enough feed space for all the cows to eat at once, and also to ensure that there are enough space for the cows to lie down, whether this be cubicles or straw yards. By ensuring there is plenty of space for cows to move around the shed, time spent standing will be minimised, which will lower the risk of developing clawhorn lesions such as sole bruising and ulceration. So, to summarise what we've covered in this video on cow flow. Cows have flight zones and tipping points. Cow flow is important both at pasture and in sheds. Minimising standing times will help reduce the prevalence of clawhorn lesions. If you would like to discuss cow flow on your farm, please contact your vet or one of our CLA team for further information. Thanks for watching this Cattle Lameness Academy Mobility Matters video on cow flow.